Um, some of the locals have been talking to me very briefly about Hawaiian prophecy, the prophecy is that the ancient Hawaiians are to return, and now it appears they are in the process of that. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Well, when you say ancient Hawaiians returning, what does that mean?
I'm just I'm repeating what they said.
Oh, because a lot of us like to say that Hawaii is getting full of born-again Hawaiians. Okay? They just don't have Hawaiian skin looking and don't have a physical genealogy for this life, but there's a lot of Hawaiian spirits coming back. Whether that's what they mean, I don't know. The problem with prophecies is this. Typically, Hawaiians did not ever make long-term prophecies. They made observations of what was going on in a given moment and projections of probable results. Usually, they didn't do that for a very long period of time ahead, but they could. Now, here's why. Well, one of the reasons is in the traditional Hawaiian culture, using the Hawaiian language, it's a very present moment oriented language and therefore a very present moment oriented way of looking at the world. So we know, for example, the Hawaiians did not celebrate anniversaries of any kind. They only celebrated the birthday of the firstborn, first birthday of the firstborn, because that was the keeper of the genealogy and the traditions. Okay? And they didn't keep records of the past. They kept excellent memories of chants and genealogies for their not for their historical terms because that didn't interest them, but for their effect on the present moment. Okay? It was almost as if we could think that the genealogy, if we think of it, the genealogy in Western tradition is something going back to the past like that. Hawaiians thought of it more vertically. Okay? A whole different mindset about it. Okay? So it was what this had to do with the present moment that made it important, not because it happened a long time ago. That had no significance. They didn't, like I said, didn't celebrate birthdays, didn't keep track of that at all. Now, we do have some written records of a few so-called prophecies that were made, and these were all pretty short-term things. And one of the other reasons was that they had the belief that if they prophesied something that didn't look like it was going to turn out right, you had to do the proper ritual in the present moment to change that. Because they did not think that the future was fixed. In present times, there's been a lot of influence from a lot of other cultural ways of thinking. And I know that sometimes because other people have these big prophecies, the Hawaiians should too. That happens once in a while. I'd be interested in any sources because the only other source for prophecies would be definite possibility. If a particular saying or statement came down through a particular family by oral tradition, through that family. That is certainly possible. Okay? But in general, no. There was a prophecy that the Howleys were going to take over the islands. Well, that was obvious from what was happening at the time. Okay? I'm not aware of any other significant ones that would have any time range to them. Doesn't mean they don't exist. I'm not aware of them.